Hello friends, welcome to quick brief presentation of Sumir Sharma. Dear friends, the topic of the video is effects, consequence and significance of the American Revolution. It has four sections. Recap. The recap is of the causes of the American Revolution. The link for that video is given in the description. The second one is suggestive question, rather suggestive questions on the effects of the American Revolution, which is the topic of this video. And finally, the discussion on text of the model answer, which I am going to discuss in the video. And you can assess this whole text by filling in the feedback form. The link for the feedback form is given in the description. And finally, the availability of the text of model answer in form of a book online, and you can acquire that book free of cost for offline reading.
It is the recap of the earlier lecture. In lecture 1, I have studied the causes of American Revolution 1776. In this lecture, I had taken up some basic suggestive questions. After that, I had discussed in detail different causes. They were basically divided into 8 main headings. They were mainly divided into main 8 headings. Each heading was further discussed in detail, and a glimpse of that document is here, and this document can be acquired by filling in the feedback form. The link for the answer to the causes is also provided in the description of this video. Now let us take up the next question, which is the effects of American Revolution.
The suggestive questions are: the question is, what were the effects of the American Revolution on America, England, and other countries of the world? I will call it the generic question. I have tried to provide you an answer to this very specific question. The same question can be asked in a different manner. The suggestive question is, why is the American Revolution regarded as an epoch-making event in the history of the world? Now, this question asks for the significance of the American Revolution. So, effects and significance are inbuilt whenever you try to answer either of these questions. The third question which I suggest is examine the consequences of the American Revolution. I would like to drop this question because for me the word consequence entails some negative connotation. So basically there are two questions. What were the effects and what were the significance? And in case of the significance question, it is generally framed like the way it is presented here. There is one another question wherein the paper setter generally asks cause and effect. Well, I will not debate on the format of such a question. I will only suggest to the paper setters to be cautious while framing the question. If you ask cause and effect in the examination, it is not possible for the student to write such answer. And similarly, it creates a problem for the paper checker to evaluate such a type of question, because a paper setter may be looking out for some specific points to explain the causes and the effects, and the student may not justify the requirements of the question. The question should remain specific. Either you ask for the causes or you ask for the effects. Now, effects and significance are to be understood. Definitely, they are to be understood in case of world history. This particular question is concerning one particular nation, but in world history, the American Revolution definitely had a great importance for the world. So I will like I will like to present an answer to the first two questions. And here I will like to emphasize that you can acquire the text of this question which I have presented in the YouTube in this video from uh, by filling in the feedback form. The link to the feedback form is given in the description. Kindly acquire the PDF form of the whole answer which I am going to discuss with you uh, by filling in the feedback form. Dear friends, I present before you an answer to the proposed question. I again repeat, you can acquire this document by filling in the feedback form. The link for the feedback form is given in the description. These are the three suggestive questions which I have already discussed with you. Now let me share with you the whole answer which I have prepared. I have developed this answer under the following headings: the effects, consequence, and significance of the American Revolution, consequence of the American Revolution, its effects on America, effects on England, effects on Ireland, effects on France, effects on Spain, effects on the world. Now allow me to share with you the details which I have provided. I have given an introduction to this aspect of the significance and effects of the American Revolution. In consequence of American Revolution, I have made a subpoint: effects of revolution in America. This I have covered under 11 points. The United States of America came in existence, the rise of Americanism, very important point, an abstract point, but you have to write this point even if you are not able to fully appreciate the elaboration given in it. The next point is the growth of agriculture in America, development of independent trade, growth of industry, capitalism in USA. Here I would like to suggest that as per the requirement of the syllabus, the effect has to be studied within the time range of the syllabus, which ends with 1817. The major effect is that America emerged as a nation. In the world history, America is the first nation which had emerged with a constitution. After that came Italy and Germany. This is the story of the world history. So America as a nation without any monarchical setup of government in itself is a historic event. But some of the effects which are traced to the rise of America as a nation are a result of later part. So in case of this point, the rise of capitalism, as far as my understanding goes, it is something which started after 1860. As this point is included by a large number of books, so I was constrained to suggest this point also here. But America as a society, that is the effect of American Revolution. Then USA focus on education. This is one of the major effects, and the separate and the USA wrote her constitution. This is one of the major things which had happened in world history. You must remember that in 1789, Americans themselves decided to write a constitution, and that constitution is still in force. The idea of freedom, liberty, and equality, and the written constitution is no doubt considered to be the product of French Revolution. But before French Revolution, America had already tried it, and it is the experiment of America which still exists. So let us continue to further. Federal government of the world. When American Revolution took place, they established a federal government. Now that was an experiment which was executed for the first time in the world history. So that's why it is one of the major achievement or significance of American Revolution. Then USA approach to religion. In Indian University we find that this aspect is sometimes sidelined. But if you try to study the books written by American historians, you will find that they have emphasized this point, and no doubt some of the books which are available and which you may use for writing your own answer, after looking into my answer, you will find that most of the books have touched this point very superficially. However, I have also given a very small explanation, because if you try to write this whole answer, even on the basis of the points, it's a very long answer. Then comes its effect on other part of the world. Before I take other points, let me share with you the contents of the each point. So, America came into existence is explained as follows. Then, American spirit of Americanism is explained in few lines. Then, America stress on agriculture growth is explained very briefly. Similarly, the issue of trade has been taken. Then, America growth of industry is also taken up in a very small paragraph. Rise of capitalism, as I have already told you, that if I want to write this answer, I may skip this point, because I can, as far as my reading goes, the rise of America as a capitalist country started only after the Civil War, and it is an explanation which is generally provided by Marxist historian. So America as a country with interest in dollar diplomacy gradually emerged, but it emerged after 1816 as per my understanding. But as most of the books have included it, and America is presently identified as a country which follows state capitalism, so I have also included this point. Similarly, American society emerged. It is related to Americanism. It is a very elaborate point, required lot of reading, but presently, if you are reading it for the first time, you just try to get the glimpse on what the uh, developments took place in society. And no doubt related to that is the America focus on education. This is one of the major part which had played role in rise of Americanism. And then at this point that America wrote her constitution, this is the major contribution. No doubt it will be repeated under other heading also. Similarly, along with the constitution came the federal government. So these are the effect of American Revolution on America. Now let us take up the next point, effect on England. So in case of England also, I have given some more points concerning the response of the British nation towards this international happening or world happening. Similarly, this revolution also had the effect on the internal politics of Britain. Then it also reflected on the trade and commerce of Britain. Similarly, it reflected on the imperial policy of Britain, and it it is its corollary that I have developed another point, and many books have also developed this point, that is that uh, it reflected on the colonial policy of Britain, and this rise of East India Company or giving preference to East India Company after American Revolution is just a continuity of the earlier points. Then the facts on Ireland is taken up. It is finished in one paragraph. After that, effects on France, and that is important. You must remember, by the time America wrote its her own constitution, French Revolution took place. So no doubt, American Revolution had played a major role in the rise of French Revolution. Similarly, it had its effects on Spain also. Spain was one of the major contender on South America as well as North America. So American Revolution helped Spain to acquire some territorial gains in Americas along with France. So this was the fact you must try to recollect and show to your paper setter that you understand it. As far the effects on the world is concerned, you may find only 2 points, but both these 2 points are of great importance. Great importance. I have already spoken that writing of the first constitution, written constitution, and establishment of the federal government. Now these were two events which was being watched by the rest of the world with great curiosity. It was something which had taken place for the first time in the history of world. So you must give importance to these 2 points. They seems to be only 2 points, but they are a statement of facts which affects every democratic country till this day. The viewers can also acquire a PDF copy of the document which I have used to describe the question in the video. The content of the feedback form is very simple. There are only general questions which ask you, are you a student, are you a teacher? You are requested to rate the content and presentation on the scale of 5, and definitely I ask you whether you are a subscriber or not. I request you to become a subscriber in order to acquire PDF files of the presentations which I provide to my viewers, and definitely The last question, ask for the consent, ask for your consent so that I can send you a PDF file of the presentation in your email. So the link for this PDF form is provided in the description of this video. Kindly avail this PDF, this facility which I provide to you. Thank you. The same answer is also published in a Kindle format and the book is available on Amazon.in and other platform of Amazon. The ACN number of this book is now highlighted on the left hand side of your screen, which is shown under a blue highlight. The link to this book on Amazon.in is also provided in the description of this video. The text of the answer discussed in this video is also published in a book which is available as a Google ebook. The viewers can download this Google ebook. The link to this Google ebook is given in the description. This book is free of cost. I really thank you for watching. I heartily thank you for watching. Oblige me by subscribing and commenting.